What the car wasn't feeling the greatest, but did a good job in qualifying, managed to get himself into the show, and now he starts to creep already off that line and through the gears they go as Oliver Randalu leads them in that yellow E46 BMW. A nice flick to angle. Oh, look at this from Randalu, absolutely up and gone, but he's shallow on the outside zone. Big handbrake drag down into 4 as Jakob Kroll on the inside of the circuit trying to make up some lost ground. And Oliver Randalu is absolutely disappearing in the distance as Jakob Kroll has nothing left in this battle. He just can't hang with Oliver Randalu as they take it across the line.
Yeah, Randalu right off the gate, right off the light, was really quick, and the initiation was incredibly snappy to get that car to angle. As soon as he got to that initiation zone, had the car over, big clutch kick, didn't lose any speed. If anything, picked up speed through that entire run. But yeah, Oliver Randalu is kind of the whole story here. Just really getting out as far ahead as he possibly could over Jakob Kroll, who at first I thought, okay, he just kind of got caught up at initiation. Usually drivers can make their way back into the fight a little bit later on. Didn't see that from Kroll. But what I did like, though, is that he stayed on line for the rest of the run. He went, okay, I'm not going to get the proximity, but I'm going to run essentially a qualifying run behind him. And that way, if there is some sort of issue, at least I'm not zeroing out. I know I'm this far out, but don't do anything crazy where I could potentially get a zero in the chase, because if we swap this around, at least I finish the run without.
With Oliver Randalu now in the chase position, as you can see, Jakob Kroll in that carbon Kevlar S15 off the line. Through the gears they come, down, and Jakob Kroll very slow. Looks like a big wobble from the front wheel there for Jakob Kroll, and you can see it. The initiation held back Oliver Randalu as he now flicks in a little wobble. He's shallowed up the angle. Both guys struggling to get to outside zone 4. As now Oliver Randalu makes the dive, pushes up onto the front wheel with that S15 as they fire through down into outside zone 7. More pressure applied from the Estonian as he now works his way right onto the door and across the line.
Yeah, I'm really wondering if Jakob Kroll has some sort of issue going on that he's fighting through, because that car definitely seems like it's down on speed, down on power. But a great job from Randalu of not being overly aggressive, not zeroing himself out in the chase, as we kind of talked about before. Because if that would have happened, that could have potentially gone to Jakob Kroll just because of that case. So very strategic work there from Jakob Kroll, who, like I was saying, probably down on some power, but Randalu aggressive, but not doing anything too aggressive that would end his weekends already.
Exactly that, yeah.
Yeah, smart but aggressive.
Smart but aggressive. Well, there we go. Well, here we go. Decisions in from the judges. Slide them left for Oliver Randalu or right for Jakob Kroll. Look at this. Kroll already knows it's going to be Randalu. Oh, but it's a split decision. Oliver Randalu gets run of this top 16. Again, looks like a final, as we mentioned, in top 32. It's going to be Laurie Heinonen to take on Oliver Randalu. Look, Randalu has been on the podium before. Can he do it again? He has a big ask right now. Heinenen's on a flyer. He looks confident. No change in the car. He just nods to the cameraman. He said, thumbs up. I'm ready to rock and roll. It's business as usual for Laurie Heinonen. The Finnish driver sits alongside the Estonian of Oliver Randalu, and Randalu is in the zone. Look at this, fully focused. He's not messing around. He means business this weekend. The anti-lag fires as Randalu starts to creep, and he pulls away as Heinonen now fires through the gear. And look at this, as they flick across, Randalu gets himself out of formation and makes a mistake on initiation, and it's business as usual for Laurie Heinonen. Sets himself up beautifully for outside zone 4, works his way down the hill and then back up. Now Randalu trying to find himself back into this fight, trying to gain some lost proximity. He's shallowing up the angle, cutting the circuit, and Heinonen looks rock steady.
Yeah, I think Randalu just mistimed things just a touch at the start, and this new procedure is changed up a little bit. Now you're running a light, there is no chicane, so that chase driver can roll a little bit more and time it a little bit better, but Randalu gets a little advantageous there, gets a bit off pace, and that ultimately meant that he needed to catch up. And the one driver you do not want to be playing catch up with is Laurie Heinonen, who does not look back, sets the car, gets through the track, one of the fastest drivers that we've seen all weekend, and shows all the signs of that here. What I did like, though, is Randalu did not panic. No. This is so key at this point. It's not over. Something could happen, something could change, and Oliver does a great job of not panicking, not taking as much angle out of the car as he needs to get back in the fight without zeroing out, because that's a very thin threshold between those two stages.
It certainly is a thin threshold, and we see some of our phantom slow-mo shots as Laurie Heinonen looks out the window. Look at that cool look out the window as he just looks at the outside zone like, got that one, now there's 2 more coming up, I know exactly where I need to be. It's rinse and repeat for Heinonen. He's almost driving a scale electrics, if you like, because it looks like that car literally goes exactly where it should do every single run. But now Randalu under some pressure, and he would have felt that in the car as a driver, but also been told that by his spotters.
Yeah, of course. He's going to have notes going into this and understand what he needs to do, which is going to be perfection. But that also means that Laurie Heinonen can chase as close as he wants.
Exactly, there we go. Heinonen would have been told to give him a little bit of room. There was some mistakes in that lead, but Heinonen now jumps into formation onto that back bumper, and he does give him the room to manoeuvre, as Heinonen doesn't want to make any mistakes, doesn't want to put himself in any danger, but he does a little bit there as he drops a wheel off the edge of the circuit, kicks up some dust, and now Randalu starts to pull away. Heinonen not really putting himself in the fight, and I think Heinonen panicked a little bit there. He's shortcutting the circuit massively. Randalu fires all these outside zones through the checklist and across the line.
Very interesting. It almost looked like there may have been some sort of mechanical there for Laurie, because he slowed down even more throughout that track. So once we get into this replay, we're going to be able to start looking for a few different things. Does the smoke disappear? With this in-car, was there a misshift? That could be the other part. I don't think so. I mean, the chance of Laurie Heinonen having a misshift is pretty slim. But yeah, just kind of gets gapped. Normally you would see him dive in at this point. He'd really start to push, but just doesn't. Very, very strange from Laurie Heinonen. But, I mean, Oliver Randalu is the biggest fan of that right now. People do make mistakes. Champions make mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of separation there. It's not exactly what we expected from Laurie Heinonen. I mean, look, you know, we know these guys play very tactical games, giving the lead car some room if you think there's going to be a bit of a sway in the favour of your way. But you can see the little bit of panic coming through there in Laurie Heinenen's driving as he tries to dive through and shortcut those outside zones.
Yeah, just not able to make up the gap at any point in time, and almost looked like he struggled with the car. He was trying to take angle out. He was playing back and forth to really try and gain that proximity, but couldn't. So, I mean, it could come down to some sort of power issue. He's pointing.
He's pointing, yeah. So what's his...
Axel?
Oh, has he got a D-bead? Oh, he's got a D-bead.
Wow.
So there we go. And I'll tell you when that happened, when he come into outside zone 4, I see the dust kick up there, and Heinonen dropped a wheel off the edge of the circuit. That gave him a D-bead, hence why he couldn't get through. And I'm also being told that James Dean's car is down to 6 cylinders for the runs. So James Dean won that battle on 6 cylinders.
Wow.
Fresh news coming from the paddock to my headset.
Now, I'm hoping that's not like a permanent 6 cylinders.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
They do have a full spare engine. I don't think there's enough time to make that swap. I have seen them. I mean, we even saw it yesterday where he was playing with spark plug wire, so maybe that's all it is. Let's hope that's all it is. But if anybody can figure it out, it's going to be James Dean. Here's the thing, too. You're down 2 cylinders, and you have a lot of nitrous.
Hold that full. Slide him left for Heinonen, right for Randalu, and I knew this was going to happen. It's going to be Oliver Randalu, ladies and gentlemen, who takes it through to the top the Grade A. And I'm just going to quickly get clarification from the judges. The D-bead deemed him out of competition. Yeah,
I know they thought about swapping it, and I know they looked at the time and said, I don't think it can happen. And this is it. 20 seconds remain for James Dean to get that car to the lines. You can see him firing down what is, I believe, the front straight of this racetrack. Yeah, and he's already trying to scrub in those front tires on the way over because he's not going to have a lot of time to scrub in the back. So.
No, he certainly isn't. He's probably been doing a little bit of tyre warming as much as he can. Yeah, look, and he's been given the signal. He made it in time, just about. But yeah, our start line Marshall Martin's like, look, we need to go. And look at Oliver Randalu in the car. He's like, hey, I've been sat here for 2 minutes. I need to re-warm my tyres.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. And Randalu now starts to put on a protest.
I mean, I get it. So let's see here. Did they just say they timed out?
No, he's been disqualified from competition.
No
Oliver
way.
Randalu gives a signal to say it's been 2 minutes. Randalu leaves the line, and James Dean is disqualified at the line.
Wow. This is something we are going to be talking about for a very, very long time. But at the end of the day, the rules are the rules. You have 2 minutes. Everybody plays by the same clock. And this one ran out on James Dean.
Yeah, look at James Dean. He accepts the fate, and he shakes our start line Marshall Martin's hand and says, look, what can I do?
Yeah.
He knew he couldn't fire that car into that first turn without warming the tyres.
No.
It's too risky. It's too dangerous. James has already been in a situation this weekend that he was so upset about, he didn't even want to talk about it with anyone else. And James wouldn't take that risk again. That's because he is the machine, the sportsman, an unbelievable driver that has done this time and time again. Oliver Randalu, look, he sat there and said, I'm not messing around. The clock says go, I'm going.
Listen, they're all friends at the end of the day, but before that, at the beginning of the day, they're competitors. And that's it. These are the rules. You know, there's no special treatment here.
Yeah, look, They've all said it. When the visor goes down, the car goes in gear. It's business. There is no friends on track. And look at this. James Dean pulls to the line, but it's too late. The start line's activated, and Oliver Randalu says, look, you weren't there, I'm gone.
Oh, just a mistiming. One less donut. It could have been it, but we also don't know. Maybe there was more issues and James goes in and this becomes a way worse story. He already got away lucky with one incident. Could have been another one, and I mean, just absolutely gutted. I'm sure he understands, but rough. He gets it. He's a competitor.
Yeah.
He's a world-class competitor. So, you know, probably saying, oh, you should have, you know, called me over, but either way.
Well, there we go. We need to make it official, and it is official. Oliver Randalu will get the win and advance through to our final four with a huge upset as James Dean pulls to the hand, opting to lead first and keeping to that, you know, that formation that we're used to for many years of drifting. Jack Shanahan doesn't want to rewrite the script. Maybe later on in the year he'll try and switch it up a little bit, but this round, for now, Jack Shanahan feeling comfortable. Look at that, thumbs up. He's ready to rock and roll, and he would have been given all the encouragement for everyone in the paddock, everyone behind the scenes saying, look, this could be the time to shine. But Randalu, he says, I've been here before, I've been in a final. I want to get back in that final. I want to be back on the podium. He doesn't even look at the camera. He's fully focused as Randalu waits to get the signal from our start line, Marshall Martin. This is it. This is the first battle in our final four. They get the green light to go, and they are off the start line through the gears. It's going to be Jack Shanahan to lead in Oliver Randalu, and it looks slow, but it isn't slow as Shanahan clicks the clutch. Randalu is all over the side and the back bumper of that GT86. Jack Shanahan fires into outside zone 4, and Randalu onto the door. Look at this, tucked up close and personal. Randalu is not messing around. Here is Spain. How did he even do that? It didn't even make sense. Randalu is a man possessed right now.
Wow, the amount of confidence to be able to do that. I mean, Jack led that so well, but Randalu just took advantage of the entire thing. I mean, at the run-up, you could already tell that Randalu was here to party. Look at this, starts to dive in, making these small corrections, and there it is, rubbing that tire on the door of Jack Shanahan. What a flex. Just to go, Jack Shanahan, I'm right here. Here's my tire, there's your door. We're gonna put 2 and 2 together and see how the rest of this run goes. Pushing Jack Shanahan around a course is not something anyone should take lightly, or that transition. Wow, Randalu, I don't know where you got that confidence
We have seen nobody all weekend do that transition.
No.
Nobody has done that.
Look.
Nobody's had the insight, the brain, the mindlessness to do that transition, because he literally went door to door in a very fast technical part of the circuit where if you make an inch wrong of an error, it's all over for both of you.
Yeah, at some point it's no longer intelligent to play that type of game, but that is how you win. You have to take rationality and throw it out the door and just do what you feel is right. And holy Randalu, that was nuts.
Oh. That was a hold on to your hat moment for Oliver Randalu. I tell you what, when he went back to the paddock for fresh tyres and fuel, he took his brain out, put it in the van and said, I'm not going to need this for the final four because these guys know what they're doing. I just need to follow, I need to get as close as I can. And Randalu just put on an absolute masterclass of a chase drive, but the lead from Shanahan was exquisite.
Yeah, at some point you don't think about driving and it's just pure instinct, and that's what that was. That was just pure instinct of, I'm going to turn my brain off. I'm just going to drive how I know how to drive.
Well, there we go. It's time to switch them around. Shanahan would have been given all the notes from the Sparks to say, look, you need to go above and beyond right now. As they come off the line, they get the green light. Randalu slams through the gears. Jack Shanahan now falls into the position, but Randalu is up and gone. Can Shanahan make up some lost ground here? He makes a dive, he fires it on big angle. He's coming in backwards to Randalu. That's insane from Jack Shanahan as Randalu glues it to the outside line. Now Jack Shanahan trying to repay the favour. As Randalu dials on the angle, he goes for that inner and outer zone. And look at that, Shanahan pushing him across the line.
Oh man, what a great way to respond to a chase like that. Jack Shanahan knows it. Guaranteed he was told what had just happened. And then Jack Shanahan just absolutely throwing caution to the wind on this time. Look at more angle than Randalu. That is one way to slow things down. Randalu a little bit narrow through that section there, and Jack had to make the correction. But instead of doing it with an e-brake, instead of slowing the car down, he went, nah, I'm going to throw a backy just to show you I can do this run better than you can, but from the chase. And then Jack Shanahan here right at the very end, just getting that tire right next to the door. A little bit of an intimidation factor when they come across the line, but Jack Shanahan, who throws a backy to slow your car down in the chase and then pulls it off? Like, normally you get choked up at that point. Nope, not Jack Shanahan, just able to throw back in. So, man, I mean, Randalu, better proximity in the chase there, but a couple of spots in the lead, he can clean it up.
Mistakes in the lead for Randalu, unfortunately, they crept in there.
Oh.
Man, I tell you, these guys are possessed this weekend.
Part of me wants to know what they're saying, but I think
it's not PG, so we can't say it. Here we go.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be? Oh, it's going to be a one more time. There's no messing around. The judges just look at me and go, oh yeah, we're going to do that thing again. These two guys are going to go at it again. They sit on the line ready to go. Randalu, I mean, I don't know what more Randalu could do in that chase, because it was phenomenal from where I was sitting, that's for sure. And I'm sure you guys watching online with us will agree. But the light goes green and they're through the gears. It will be Shanahan to lead out Randalu as they flick through the gears and flick the cars to angle. Look at this from Randalu, he's closer than he was before. Pushes Jack Shanahan as wide as he'll go to the edge of the circuit. They scrub the speed down into outside zone 4. Shanahan fulfills the outside zone and Randalu's back there again. Will he try it? He certainly does. He drops down on the inside. Randalu more aggressive than he was before, closer than he was before across the line.
That was nuts. I mean, Randalu figured out, okay, I can get more proximity for a couple more seconds here or there, but Jack Shanahan going off track there, little worrisome, because I was seeing big chunks of rubber being kicked up all the way through that run, so we don't know who that's for or from, but Randalu, one tap right there as we push out nice and wide. Jack Shanahan still on it. And then Randalu here again dives in. Another tap just to be sure, coming through that inside clip. But wow, for both of these drivers, Jack Shanahan just absolutely crushing things in the lead. And Randalu in the chase, just punishing Jack Shanahan any moment he's got and just shoving that car around. So yeah, I was seeing big hunks of rubber flying up. I wasn't sure if that's what's been left on the track or that was fresh off one of these cars, but we will see. Oh, this is incredible.
Intense. That's what
Very
it is.
intense.
Intense as these guys push their cars and themselves to the absolute limit of what is possible on this circuit. And you can see them right the way down there on the back end of the circuit. Jack just letting that car cool down as Randalu will pull into that lead position and be on the radio. Look straight away to the spot. Talk to me. Tell me where he was. Tell me what do I need to do. I can see the lead. I know how good it was because I was on his door.
Yeah, I think if I was Jack Spotter right now, I'd be like, well, you're pretty much just going to have to push him around the entire track.
Yeah, you must have felt him tapping the door. You need to do the same.
For sure, for sure. And look, if there's anybody who can do it, it's going to be Jack Shanahan.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that man is possessed. When the time comes down, when he knows he has to drive like that, it is scary. As we can see the team looking on, getting ready for this epic battle.
Bjorn Roche down there with the spotter of the Shanahans and Ite Sadas' father and spotter sit down there watching on the big screen as Shanahan pulls into the chase position. The thumbs go up either side, the door slams shut, the cars go into gear and they come off the line under the green light. It will be Randalu to lead out Jack Shanahan. Only one spot in the final away, so look at that, a strange initiation for Randalu. Massive understeer for Jack Shanahan, he has to shut it down as Randalu given the opportunity to drive away. I would love to know what happened to Jack Shanahan as they fire through. Randalu puts the car right where it needs to be, stands on the throttle, whatever on a foot brake, and gets it across the line.
And you saw Randalu there as he gets across the line, looking back across to see. And yeah, I'm wondering if Jack ended up losing a tire. As we take a look around, Jack Shanahan, this is the main story here, goes to initiate and just nothing. So could be that belt issue that we saw earlier ended up being power steering, but I'm not sure. But the story right now, really, Randalu moving on. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we assume so. The judges are still looking at the
Here's
start.
a good point. Maybe I missed something. Hey,
hey.
It's
calm yourself down.
Yeah,
calm down.
Just excited.
Yeah, I know. It's easy. It happens with drifting.
It does. Yeah.
We end up shouting and screaming and stuff happens. And
it's a great sport.
It's a great sport, right?
Oh, it's so great.
Would you do anything else?
No.
Right?
No hesitation or anything.
No hesitation. No. Well, there we go. They're out of the cars. A round of applause for both those guys. Love to find out what happened to Jack's car. He goes over to the front wheel, has a look, and I think he says, "Yeah, no, it just wouldn't do it." Yeah, just that power steering, just understeered clean off the edge of the track. Unfortunately, nothing Jack could do. Slide him left for Jack, right for Oliver Randalu. Who's going to the final? Of course, it's going to be Oliver Randalu. Oliver Randalu gets the win, advances through to the final. Jack Shanahan will builds, but two same power. One 18-year-old guy faces off against a man who's been on the podium before at Drift Masters. He's done multiple seasons in Estonia, multiple seasons in Drift Masters. He knows the ropes, but he never got to the top step of the podium just yet. This man has never got this far in competition as of yet. This is a dream for Ite Seder. What can he do in this brand new car? This is it. The road to the championship begins for one of these drivers. Who could it be? The light goes green. Ite starts to creep off the line already. Oliver Randalu slams through the gears as BMW goes against BMW. They fire in, identical initiation. Randalu almost straight lines, there's that much grip in the car. He fires into outside zone 4, puts the car where it needs to be, and Ite Seder has nothing at the moment. He's not in the conversation. Randalu is a man possessed as he puts that car right to the edge of the circuit from angle to angle.
What a way to try and take home the win in your first run. I mean, Oliver Randalu crushing through that, just picking up speed, hucking angle, just trying to throw Ite off of his game in any way that he possibly can. The moment that light dropped, that was it. Oliver Randalu shot out of the gate, initiated super hard, and just went, I'm going to run my race right now. As you can see there, Ite fighting to get back into the game on this one. Now, it is not over by any means because Oliver Randalu has been driving that car so hard. Now it becomes, are these vehicles able to hold up for one more pass? Are they going to be able to continue on? Is this it? Is this the final battle? We have no idea. We have no idea. Oh, man. I don't want it to be over.
Well, we have to decide a winner, and we've still got one run to do with it yet. All I know is that Oliver Randalu, from the moment he stepped into that car to the moment that he just pulled off the line, he's been on form all weekend. Look, qualifying wasn't the greatest for Oliver Randalu. He qualified 9th. Look, he would have liked to have been higher up. He would like to have been top 5. I'm going to say now that if he would have put one of these lead lines down in his qualifying, he probably would have been way up there. But he just can't. He couldn't do it yesterday. The nerves were too much. Round 2 nerves settled in for him, but now he's blown off the cobwebs. He feels back at home in this BMW. The story could come alive for Randalu right now as he sits there feeling even more confident, knowing that Ite Seder wasn't on the door. He couldn't give him the chase. Ite Seder says, I still believe I can be there. I can still believe I can win a round of Drift Masters. Who will it be standing on the top step? Let's find out as they go through the gears. Randalu looks across to Ite Seder as they fire those cars in. Randalu now loses a little ground as Ite puts the car right to the edge of the circuit, but Randalu goes wide. Wheels over the edge of the circuit. He holds on to it. How did Oliver Randalu hold on to that run? He glues it to the side of Ite Seder's 2 Series BMW. They fire through that inner zone as Randalu takes another bite out of the back bumper.
Wow.
Unbelievable scene.
What a crazy, crazy run there. Oliver Randalu harnesses all that aggression, but it almost went too far. It almost ruined the entire weekend for him, but Ite did not flinch, knew what he was up against, fired into that run, all the confidence in the world, and driving like he was twice his age out in the lead there. Look at the speed of these drivers. It is insane how much confidence you need to huck it right at that wall at a full clip as both drivers parallel as they come through that zone. The sturdiness, the steadiness, and just the pure insanity that it takes in order to get around this track in the first place is wild, but to do it in such fashion is absolutely next level.
They were pushing so hard, they were both almost running the wall. Ite threw everything at that and the kitchen sink. Look how wide he goes on this outside zone, but Randalu says, look, if you're going there, I'm going to follow you in. He glues it to the door of the young man, and he says, I'm not letting you get away. You're not moving an inch away from me. But he can't get that proximity he did with Shanahan. Ite has turned that car up to 100, but Oliver Randalu still threw everything in the tool bag at that one. He wants the win. Look how dialed he is inside the car. Unbelievable.
Just nuts. This is when you need to pull out all the stops, and that's what we saw from both drivers there. Literally almost completely demoing both cars just to get the win here in Spain. That's what you need to do. We talked about it before. You have to be ready to build a new car in order to win, and both these drivers came very close to having to do that.
Well, here we go. They're on track, arm in arm, because for both of these guys, it's a dream come true. But who will be the round 2 winner? Slide them left for Randalu, right for Sada. It's going to be the man from Estonia. Oliver Randalu does it. He wins his first ever round of Drift Masters and takes the top step on the podium. He's elated. He jumps onto the roof of the car. Years of of hard work, struggle and pain come to this moment as Oliver Randalu finally does it. The emotions burst out of him, and that to any driver means the world. Oliver Randalu wins round 2 of Drift Masters here in Spain 2025. It's a Sadar. He did everything he could, but Randalu was the man.